Thank you for listening to the Tattness podcast on the Tattness Co. Network.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A Mercedes kind of sentiment, luxury and trust in me to honor the free we all should be. It sees my sundial burst into yin and yang, right and left, me and you.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Tattness podcast, Halloween season 2. My guest today is somebody who, again, I am very fortunate, very honored to call a friend. Yan Birch from The People Under the Stairs. Super cool guy. And we talk about his friendship, longtime friendship with Wes Craven. And he's got some crazy stories, man. Check it out.
All right, we are now going. So let's keep all incriminating things off the...
Yeah. I might slip a few, but then you just have to cut it out.
Just a little editing job. What's covering a little?
If you don't have to edit, then we didn't have a good show.
That's right. How the hell are you, brother?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Like some of that beer, though.
Well, yeah. As soon as technology finds a way for me to send you some, I'd gladly do it.
I think they probably will soon.
I hope so. I hope so.
Fuck, if you can make $200 billion on Amazon, you can figure out how to drink beer through your phone.
Right. And when they do, you'll find out who your real friends are. Because if you're sober, you ain't got no damn friends. If they can send you some shit and they don't, you don't need them in your life.
No, that's true. That's true.
I have been rolling through people from the movie you're currently doing.
Okay.
So I had Jonas Wilshire on and Helen recently.
Oh, you're Jonas too, Swedish, yeah. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Jonas and Helen, Ranrike Studios or something over there, yeah.
Yep, and Asa as well was on. So it's like I'm just rolling through the cast, man, and the crew,
all right,
the cast and crew on this show, and I ain't mad at it. That's pretty cool.
Why not?
Right, and people would know you from People Under the Stairs, which is a cool fucking movie.
Yes, I that's the kind of that was my the big step to fame kind of thing, for sure. Wes Craven, very dear friend of mine. God bless his heart.
That was a hard.
Miss him every day. I have to say, and I, if other directors watch this, I worked with a lot of good directors, but he's very close to my heart, and one of the absolute best I ever worked with, not just as a director, as a friend, because he treated the movie as a family. He treated the cast as a family. The movie was basically like a family reunion, having fun. Let's play. I have a script here. If you go above and beyond the script, don't worry about it. I got my plans. But one thing he was very adamant about is that we all have to hang out. We have to stick together. We have to help each other out. And he was, the matriarch of all that, and because there was a lot of kids in the movie, like Brendan Adams and AJ Langer, she was young as well, and I was, like the StairMaster. I was the oldest kid under the stairs, but he basically looked to me to take care of the kids, more or less. Like, hey, you offset, just make sure these guys are comfortable. These guys are good. So that he created a family doing shooting, and that was a fantastic experience. I mean, I can't say enough about it. Words does not express what I experienced. Besides the fact that I had six hours of makeup for 6 weeks every day, which is, first of all, I was so excited to have the film. So in the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is cool, and then I'm like, every day, I have to do this every day. And then it was 2 hours to take it off. So I actually had 8 hours, eight working hours in a chair. I had 6 hours on, 2 hours off, and then we worked in between. So if I worked for 6 hours, I had 14 hours, I have 16 hours. And, you know, my days went nights and nights went days because, you know, they have the, you know, the union rules with a 12-hour turnaround. So I was like, you know, we played mornings at 3 p.m. because of me, because I had to get my 12 hours in between, or they have to pay all these penalties. And you know, and then Brandon Adams' grandmother was on set all along. He was 11 years old. Fool was 11 years old. And just so you know, we are like this right now. We're the best of friends. He's like, what, I think 40 now or something, but you know, he was 11 years old when we shot it. And his grandmother pulled me aside on the first day, and she said, I was supposed to be here every day, but I trust you. I don't know what it is, but I trust you. And I'm like, just don't go into my my dressing room, because you might smell some weird stuff in there. You know, there was no skunk. It was just me.
Probably what my house smells like. So
yeah, no, but anyway, you know, so no, we had such a great, you know, laughing aside, we had a great him and my grandmother, me and his grandmother got along so well. We had a blast, actually. I think she passed, but we you know, God bless her. We had a blast, and Brandon became like a core friend of mine. Still, you know, for the rest of my life, and so did Sean Whalen, and so did Wes Craven. Those are and so did Kelly Jo Minter. Sorry. I mean, we go to convention together. The four of us goes to a lot of conventions. It was an amazing experience, and I mean, any questions you have about the film, I probably have stories for you. But you know, before me just going off the deep end here, you know, just. You might have some questions of your own.
Oh no, I love it, man. Like I just you know, I've been known all over the world now for about 5 years now. So one of my biggest regrets is I didn't make it in time to be able to speak to Wes, because he just seemed like a wonderful human being. I'm such a fan of everything he does. I'm a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan, and everything he's done. And he had this, I never had the privilege to speak to him, but every interview I've seen, you can see in his face, he was just such a nice guy. He had this like almost an angelic look to his face in interviews. He was so happy and like happy to be there, happy to do it. And you're thinking, such a sweet looking dude that you can tell he's just the nicest guy, creates some of the darkest shit. It's so cool, you know, that I was fascinated by him, and I really wish I got to speak to him. But
yeah, you know, he dreamed every single script he wrote up until Scream. Scream was more or less of a studio produced, asked for thing as a comeback. And I think it took him a while to want to do it, because that was not his thing, but it did become a success. God bless him for that. But every movie, you know, I don't know if you know this or if your viewers know this, but every single script he ever wrote before Scream was a dream first. He always waited for his dreams. He was a very creative man. And he came up with you know, with Chuck Russell and the like, and they did their movies together. And he dreamed his movies. He had Freddy Krueger. Obviously, that's all Freddy Krueger's nightmare. It was Wes Craven's nightmares. There was like, he created a character out of his own dreams. And People on the Stairs was based on a true story in Santa Monica, California, in the 70s. It was a sister and brother slumlords, and it was a newspaper article, sometime in the 70s, talking about these slumlords kidnapping kids because they were obviously nuts. They had a lot of money, but they were, you know, crazy, and they kidnapped kids to have a child, and they tried to create the perfect child, and if the child did something, said something bad, heard something bad, saw something bad, they put him in a cellar, and that is actually a true story. I mean, he added stuff. Obviously, I don't think they fed whoever came to the door for us to eat. You know, like I ate kidneys on people on the stairs. I ate the kidney from the mailman or whatever. You know, obviously he embellished it. But the true story is that it was two slumlords, a sister and a brother in Santa Monica in the 70s. He read the article and he said to me, I read the article such a long time ago and I wanted to do something. And then one night I dreamed what I was supposed to do. And I woke up and I wrote it all down. And that's People Under the Stairs.
That's crazy. That's so cool.
And that's like 20 years after he read the article, he dreamed about it. And he was a pioneer. I mean, he made a child black actor the lead of a studio film, which has never been done before. And it became #1 for 6 weeks in the box office. It was #1. So basically, he created a Hollywood hit with a very political message, which nobody really realized when it came out, because it's a horror movie. But if you think about it, it's a lot of politics involved in this movie.
Right.
You know, with the slumlords and the money to the people that doesn't have it, and the black kid that's the hero. And I you know, horror fans, when they first see the movie, I don't think they grasp the depth of this film. And that's Wes Craven in a nutshell. He's aware. He is aware. He has compassion. He's got love, but he loves horror. And to your point, he's the opposite of his movies. Him as a personality, as a character, as a person, as a human being, he's the sweetest, most loving man. One of the, I can't say but one of the sweetest, most loving men I've ever met. And then, you know, he does these movies, and it's like, I asked him a million times. I'm like, what's going on? He said, I don't know. I dreamed that shit. I said, something's up in your head, dude, because you're so you're so incredibly sweet and caring and conscious and compassionate. And then you dream this shit. He said, I don't know, man. He said, I don't know. Like, you know, my brain computer is, something's going on at night. Something's going on at night.
You know, to your point too, I love that you pointed that out, because it's 100% accurate that he is aware, because it seems to be a theme with him, because his franchise of Nightmare on Elm Street, a lot of people don't realize. I'm really good friends with Ken Sagos, who is in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4. And Ken actually broke a record and actually made history, being the first black character to survive in a worldwide horror movie from beginning to end in a horror movie, and then being killed off in the next one within minutes.
Wow.
But he's the first black character to actually live from beginning to end in a horror film that spanned the world. In Nightmare on Elm Street 3, he survived from beginning to end, and it's never been done before in a horror film for a black actor or a black character. So he is credited with being a pioneer because of that, and that was a creation of Wes's doing. So
yeah, and look at Michael Berryman. He looked at this man and he said, this man, he created Michael Berryman's whole career. He looked at this man and said, this man was he would have been an outcast. He would have been one of those that they put in a if he would have been born 10 years earlier, it would have been put in a home and they would have locked the doors, you know, in the 50s, because he was, you know, I'm not going to say the word because he's not, because I love him and he's a really good friend of mine. But, you know, he doesn't look like everybody else. And Wes took it as, and I know when he casted him, he didn't have that kind of look in mind. He met Michael and he's like, dude, I got to do something for this dude. He's a great actor. And what else can he do in his life? He's going to be thrown to the sides. And he created a whole life for Michael Behrman. And I mean, that's Wes Craven. I'm just, again, saying it's all heart, nothing else. It was all heart, nothing else. And I have a great story for you about Wes. And I will just tell you who he is and what he is about. I have 100, but let me tell you one. Let me tell you one. So one day I come to set, like I always do at 6, 7 in the morning, just sit in my chair for 6 hours. Everybody was way more stressed than normal. Everybody's running out like ants all around the place. And I'm like, what is going on? And they said, oh, the suits are coming. The suits are coming, meaning Universal executives. We over budget. We way over budget. Everybody was like, please don't shut us down. Everybody's praying. This is my gig. I have to support my family. All these crew members was like, shit, this is my, I depend on this for the next 2 months, blah, 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 blah. And everybody was running like crazy, as I said. And I was sitting in my makeup chair and I'm thinking, and even the makeup artist was nervous. And they all came to me all of a sudden and said, where's Wes? Like the producer came to me and the executive producer came to me and the studio heads, because me and Wes hung out a lot. Especially because I was like the big kid out of all the kids, and I was a little older, and we had our moments. So I'm like, I have no idea, and they're all looking for Wes because they wanted to inspect the set because we're over budget, okay, way over budget, and we're not even close to done yet. And I, they all left me and I'm like, I think I know where he's at, but I'm not going to tell anybody. So I go up the fire ladder up to the roof of Renmar Studios, middle of Hollywood. I don't think it's called Renmar anymore, but that's where they rebuilt the house in a studio when they did the explosions and stuff. And the basement was actually in a studio. And then we shot in the real house as well. And we blew that roof off the top for real. But it's a different story. But in the studio, they had a flat roof on the studio, and there was a fire ladder that not many people knew about. Around the corner, you had to like hang out, and you have to take a stepping stool to get up to the ladder. And I know, I've been up there with Wes, so I'm like, I think I know where he's at. So I go up on the fire ladder, and I get up to the roof, and yeah, Wes is lying there on the roof, looking at the sun and the sky. And I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I'm waiting for them to leave so I can finish my fucking movie.
I love it.
He didn't come down once. He didn't, they had to leave without meeting him. He's like, I'm not going down there. Are you kidding me? I know what I'm doing. I know what kind of movie I'm doing. I know they're going to make a shitload of money. Don't bother me right now. And he was right. He was 100% right. He made a $6 million movie that made $30 million in the first, 3 weeks of release, was #1 in the box office, and became a cult movie, which is very rare. I have to say, I'm very, very appreciative and thankful and grateful to be involved in a movie that got both sides. We got the hit and we got the cult. Like normally it's either one or the other. You get a big box office hit and people don't know, 10 years later, like what, who, what movie? Oh yeah, who's in it? Brad Pitt? Yeah, I remember a little bit. But very rarely do you get one that's actually #1 for like 6 weeks. Opening on Halloween by all days too. So, Halloween 1991, which is coming up on the 30 years here next year. And then at the same time, it turned into a cult movie. So we got the best of both worlds. And I think one of the few people that I've ever been able to accomplish that is Wes Craven. So kudos again to Wes. I mean, I know I talk a lot about Wes right now, and I'm sure he's hearing us wherever he's doing, but
I love it.
He's the best. He's just the best.
I'm so glad to hear that, because I loved Wes. I love everything about all his work. And life is funny. To your point, Wes always struck me as someone that did not have time for anyone that didn't have faith in his work, because he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
He was aware of his brilliance, but he was too humble to acknowledge it, in my view. but he knew what he does is always successful. But if you don't have faith in that, just sit back and shut up, because he'll show you. But he's not going to waste time pandering to you or trying to explain himself, because that takes away from the vision. He's got only time for the vision, and I love that. And I'm someone that's so into art that I get that completely. I don't like to be bothered when I'm drawing and shit, because it's like, I got to get this out before it fades. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, totally.
I can't continue something the next day. It's like, no, while it's flowing now, I got to get this done. And if it means,
no, if he on that note, if he would have come down there, shaking all these hands, that was, more of mandatory, more or less. You're supposed to, shake the hands, make them feel comfortable. He did like any other director would have been like, oh, I had to put a suit on today. I gotta, my hair's gotta look good. The suits are coming. They're paying for this. He did the complete opposite. He just disappeared. I think that says a lot about Wes. It's just like, if he would have come down there, shaking, like I said, shaking the hands and trying to be there. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, kind of thing. To me, that just tells you that he might not know what he's doing. Right. And he's trying to convince them that, yeah, we are $1 million over budget, but please trust me. Instead, he said, screw you. I know what I'm doing. You're going to get your money back. Just get out of my set,
Which shows faith in all of you who are a part of the project.
Yes.
Because he believes in all of you, which helps you believe in yourself, I think that's great. I think he was confident in every one of you by doing that. Like, I don't need to justify shit to them, because I see what you guys are worth. They don't. They're not here. They're not here to see what the actors are doing and how talented they are. That's all his department.
Yeah.
They don't know shit. Except,
no, they were just worried about money. That was all about money. So
right.
If they would have come down there, they would have probably required to stay on one for the scenes and everything else, and it would have just been, everybody would have been stiff, and he wouldn't have got anything he wanted.
Right.
Because you don't want people, basically, you don't want the people actually paying for it being all the critical and shit while you're trying to do your art.
Right.
It's like, if you're an artist, like you said, and somebody wants to buy you painting, you don't want them to look around your shoulder while you're making the painting. It's like, get the fuck out of my house. I'm creating right now. I don't care. If you like it afterwards, buy it. Don't tell me what to do right now.
That's just it. It's like, if you knew anything about art, you'd do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't. These fuckers only know bottom lines. They don't know acting, so they wouldn't even know that you're killing it and doing a great job. They wouldn't even have a clue that they probably screw up the whole day by just showing up. Right.
And he knew. So he just said, hey, I'm not going to be available.
Right. So, life is really funny to me, because I remember way back in the day, we had the Viewer's Choice pay-per-view channel, and we had a channel that had the ads for the movie channel. And one day in the 90s, People Under the Stairs was advertised as being something you could pay to watch. And they would show the trailer for it. And I thought, that's a creepy ass looking fucking movie. And I was a kid. If you were to tell me back then, one day, a bunch of years later, you're going to sit down and talk to the cat from that movie. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. So it's funny. It's super cool. Life is really trippy like that. Nobody could have convinced me back then, okay, you're going to become an MMA fighter that's known all over the world. Then you're going to do your own show, and it's going to be number 10 at a top 50 in the world in your first year. And then fucking, like, in August, it was my first year of doing this show. And I was, New York and LA Weekly Times fucking said that I was number 10 out of the top 50 in the world.
Wow.
And I was like,
that's fantastic. I mean, congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thanks
awesome.
so much, man. That blew my
Yeah.
mind. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't even know I was on the radar. And all the guests and the friends that I've made even before having them on the show, Ken Sagos, Mick Strawn, fucking CJ Graham is going to be on. He's a friend of mine who played Jason.
Yeah, I know CJ. Yeah, we've been to, you meet all these people at conventions, like
I've never
it's a core group on convention, and the conventions is like a core group. You get really close because you just have to hang out, for example, at one of them, I'm not going to say which one it was, but me, Corey Haim, Billy Forsythe, and Julian Sands spent all night in Julian Sands' hotel room, smoking some really good, and talking Irish ghost stories. And I'm like, because Julian had one after the other, and we were just like that. What the fuck are you talking about? And it was amazing. And everybody else, everybody else was trying to create something. We just said, hey, we went to the VIP party, we hung out, we did the fan, we love the fans. I love hanging out with the fans. But then at some point, let's just, and we ended, I don't know how we ended up there. We just ended up and like at 5 a.m, we're like, shit, we got to be at the table at 8, and we're still talking ghost stories. And it was one of the funniest experiences of my life, actually. And I never forget those guys that night. And God bless Corey. I mean, he's another one we lost. So
it's so sad. I mean, so many go.
Yeah, a lot of them go, man. River went, Corey went, shit.
Yeah.
West went, everybody, it's a lot of, that's one thing with Hollywood. There's a lot of people that I've used to hang out with that are watching over us now, which is,
yeah,
might be a good thing because they could help us out, but hey, I miss them all.
Absolutely, man. I lost a son after he turned 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
Due to being born with a terminal condition that gave him 2 weeks to live. He gave me 2 years.
Wow.
So it becomes a mentality of like, you got to live for 2 now. You have to experience and appreciate for 2. So I think that kind of drove me to push this even beyond MMA and just kind of do a show. And then all of a sudden, I was on Jimmy Starr's show, and he said to me, "You're 6'5" and 265 pounds of muscle. Why the fuck are you not the next Jason or Myers?" And I was like, dude, if the opportunity arose, I'd be on it. And he's like, "Would you be interested in playing a horror killer?" And I'm like, "Anytime." And he's like,
yeah.
So of course, because he's a producer, he's like, "Okay, we're gonna have to make this happen."
Yeah, I love Jimmy. Jimmy and I are working on a couple of things together. I've been on Jimmy's shows a few times, and Jimmy's a great guy. And he had only great things to talk about you, by the way. He texted me today saying, "You're gonna have so much fun. This guy is like the greatest." So I want to let you know that you got like 10 stars from Jamie Stars for sure.
Damn, man, that's crazy. I love Jimmy, and Ron was a blast on my show too.
Oh, Ron is a blast on any show.
Yeah, I had both of them on my show. They're both so damn funny.
Yeah.
And I go on their show, and of course, Ron, right out the gate, hits me with shit. I'm like, here we go. And
he does. That's what he does. Ron is the poker. He pokes you. He wants to know he wants to know the backside, If I told him the Wes Craven story, he's gonna want to know: did he smoke weed? What did he do on the roof? What's happening? Did you have a beer together? I'm like, that's wrong. I'm like, he wouldn't just be satisfied with the story. He needs to know more than that. Right. Which is funny because when they do the show together, it works so well because they complement each other amazingly. I think
1,000,000%, and I love it. Because Jimmy's more reserved. He's funny as hell, and he's great. But he's more reserved than Ron. Ron is like, I'm going to take this as far as I can. you know, and he's just hit you with some left field shit. Amazing. I love it. I think Jimmy loved the fact that I kept up with Ron, because I had experience, I had experience with him being on my show that I knew to go in prepared. And so the second I get on and Ron goes at it, I already had a response for him because I'm prepared for him. You're not going to shock me anymore at this point.
Yeah. True. I get you 100%. You know, and as I say, experience I had with them actually.
It was fun.
It was a blast. Can I have a 2-minute break here?
Absolutely, brother.
Because I'm getting these freaking texts from somebody who needs an answer, and I know because you're taping, we can do this. But if it was live, we couldn't do it. So just give me 2 minutes again. I'll be right back.
No worries.
I'll be right back. Sorry, man.
No worries at all.
I'm ready to go, Nick. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Any questions? Because you cut in and out anyway, so you do whatever you want.
Yeah, man. I actually have a guest in like the next 5 minutes anyway, so I got to wrap this up, unfortunately. Anyhow, so it's all good. So any final thoughts you have at this? Yeah,
anything. Hey, go check out. Sky Sharks is coming out in the end of the year. You should check that out. It's a Nazi zombies on flying sharks. Bigger budget movie out of Germany. Had a blast doing that. Amityville Harvest is coming out October 20th, I think. That was fun. I have a TV series called Tale of Tales coming out. I think it's Amazon Prime. I play a 60s, 70s hippie drug deal in a strip club. So you can't go wrong with that shit. With a handlebar mustache. So
beautiful.
That was a blast. I mean, I don't want to, I don't need to pitch everything I ever do, but yeah, no, just, like people, if you, follow me on Instagram, Yan Birch page, and Yan Birch on Facebook fan page, Yan Birch on Twitter, click on IMDb for God's sake. All the studios, especially now in the quarantine, all the studios look at it as you freaking Star meter, which didn't used to mean anything. And now it means everything. So, that's my 2 cents.
Does the handlebar mustache have its own link?
You know what? I'll text you. I got your email now. I'm going to email you some pictures from that show. You're going to get a blast on that one. I love the character. The characters and it's unbelievable. Like when you saw Three's Company in the old days, if you remember, and the janitor shows up. The janitor. Every time the janitor shows up, everybody fucking, oh, whoa, he's back on. It's fun. This is the guy. He was like the comedic element of even if it was a comedy show. I am the janitor in this show. I'm like, when I show up, they're like, I'm not supposed to be funny, but I look like, dude, who the fuck is this guy?
The handlebar mustache deserves its own website.
Oh, I know. And I mean, it was my own too. It was funny. I come on set and I discuss it with the director. We talk and I say to him, hey, you say like I'm supposed to be like 60s, 70s hippie in present time. He said, yeah. I said, what if I just shave my beard off and keep the handlebars? He's like, oh my God. So I went, it was on my own accord and it worked fantastic, brilliantly. I mean, you look at that character and you're like, the first comment I got that I ever posted, the first picture of that character was, look at that stash.
So mission accomplished then.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. Hey man, it was an absolute honor. And after hearing I got such high praise from Jimmy, I hope I didn't fucking disappoint you. But
no, you did not. I mean, I wish we had more time to talk, but well, let's do it again.
Hell yeah.
Let's do it again.
Every guest I get asks if they can come back. I'm like, fucking anytime, dude.
Yeah. I mean, this is a black. I like these kind of shows. Is what I like. I mean, like I said, I could talk 3 hours with you right now. So
Well, let's set something up, man.
Yeah, let's set something up a little later. Let's do that for sure.
Hell yeah. I mean, hit me up anytime you're free and I'll make time for you.
Okay, yeah, let's do another show soon, like in a month or something. Let's because I don't think we had enough. We didn't talk about enough stuff. I have so many different subjects to talk about. I'm glad we can't be focused on Wes today because Wes is very important. And it was only August 15th when he passed, so it was very recent to me, especially during this quarantine when you're stuck in your freaking house not doing anything. Yeah, every date is very, very memorable, and I thought about him a lot this year. He was going to do, and I end with this. They were developing it. People understand it's a TV series when he passed.
Really?
Yeah, for Universal. So the last tweet I have for him, I have a tweet message between him and I back and forth. And it's like him telling me that I'm in the TV series. And this is in May 2015. We went back and forth. I'm like, shit, really? He said, of course you're in it. So, I was all excited. And then, 2 months later, he was dead, unfortunately. And it still says, if you look it up, on IMDb, it still says in development, but obviously it's on. He signed a deal with Universal for 3 TV shows, I think in May, and he tweeted me right afterwards. We went back and forth, and obviously those tweets, I never going to get rid of.
That's so sad, man.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you got to work with him and have the great experience that you had, and gave people like me a great experience watching you, man. It's been an absolute honor, and you're welcome to come back any damn time you want, man. Say the word, I'll make time.
Cool. Yeah, no, this was an absolute pleasure. I have to let you know that it was great. Everything Jimmy said is absolutely correct. I loved the show. I love your show. Love to come back and just shoot some more shit, because I don't think we shot enough shit today.
No, I think we and thanks so much for your time, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Never would have thought in a million years, but here we are. So I'm so glad. I'm so grateful. Thanks so much, man. And come back.
No worries at all. No worries. It was my pleasure. And hey, if I move to Canada, we'll hang out
all the time. I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. I know you got to go. You got a 5 o'clock one, huh?
I do. Yeah. Mickey Fair.
All right. Yeah. Say hi to Mickey, and I'll talk to you later on.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That, my friends, was the amazing Yan Birch, one of the coolest people ever. Very good friend of mine now, which is great. What a trip. I mean, cool conversation. Really cool guy. Sweetheart of a human being. And I look forward to having him on again, where we could do a really lengthy show and just shoot the shit. As you heard him say, he wants to do this longer and do it again. And I am always down. Hell yes. Especially with amazing cats like that. I found him to be one of the most fun people to talk to. Once again, just another amazing guest. So I look forward to having him back. And we always are in touch on social media anyway. So hopefully he makes it out this way to Canada and moves out here, and we'll have them beers we've been talking about. Anyways, man, I hope you're all digging this Halloween shit. It's been so much fun. Unfortunately, I've had a couple of reschedules, like CJ Graham got double booked accidentally. These things do happen. Trust me, I know that all too well. I've done it myself. It's so hectic these days that we all got shit to do. So, we will be rescheduling, unfortunately, but it will happen, don't you worry. But otherwise, things seem to be going pretty well. We've got a lot of guests still to come, so keep an eye out, keep listening, man. I love y'all. Thanks so much for all your support. You guys are the best, and I'll catch your asses down the road.
I will not speak to your smallness, a destruction of the fear in us. I have yet to know what I should